In today's video, I'm going to take you through 5 of the many myths about Melbourne and show you why they're at least partially not true. As a lifelong Melburnian and history nerd, I've always been interested in these sorts of things. But unfortunately, many people, and now automated bots online, just keep repeating the same things over and over again that are just misleading or plain wrong. And to give myself an additional challenge, I'm aiming to do all of this in under 5 minutes. So without further ado, let's get into these 5 myths about Melbourne and why they are wrong. Before we get started, I have a special announcement. I'm very pleased to say that I've just launched a new website where you can sign up for bonus content like early access to videos and work in progress updates. It's similar to Patreon, but I host it on my own website for greater flexibility, privacy and security. You can sign up and find out more at members.philipmallis.com, which I've also linked in the video description below. You're very welcome to sign up if you're interested, but if you're not, that's also totally fine. And now, back to today's video.
Number 1. King Street is named after a king. There's a lot of misinformation and interesting things to talk about when it comes to Melbourne street names.
And King Street is one of these common myths. Because it's next to William Street, many people assume it's named after a King William, like this major tourist blog, which says exactly this. So while William Street is named after King William IV, King Street is actually named after Governor Philip King, the 3rd Governor of New South Wales. So while it is a handy way to remember the order of city streets, King Street in fact has nothing to do with the monarchy.
Number 2. Melbourne was the first European settlement in Victoria. The town of Portland in Victoria's southwest was in fact the first European settlement in Victoria, and not Melbourne. Prior to this, there were some occasional visits by whalers, escaped convicts and others, but this was the first permanent spot for European settlers in this state. While there was technically an earlier convict settlement at Sorrento that was established in 1803, this was abandoned after only a few months, while Portland remains to this day. Portland was founded just 1 year before Melbourne in 1834, but that's enough to give it this title. The town still celebrates its extensive European and Aboriginal history, including the important whaling industry of the mid-19th century, as well as the World Heritage listed Budj Bim National Heritage Landscape, also known as Mount Eccles, which is one of the oldest examples of permanent Indigenous settlement in Australia. Number 3. The Yarra River is dirty.
This one is sort of half true.
The 242-kilometre waterway is the main river that flows through central Melbourne. While it certainly isn't the cleanest in the world, it's definitely nowhere near as dirty as it looks. Its famous brown colour mostly comes from Silurian sand, which is a form of clay that rises to the top of the river. While we did used to pour raw sewage, chemicals and other nasty things into the water, thankfully most of that has stopped today, and the river gets cleaner every year. Now we see animals like seals and platypuses going ever further along the river, proving that it is getting better. It's also much cleaner the further you are from the city. If you follow the watercourse inland, you'll find the water quality much higher, even as close as Templestowe and Viewbank.
So while most of its city end is certainly not suitable for drinking or even swimming, it's far cleaner than its murky exterior shows.
Number 4. Trams are the most popular form of transport.
Melbourne has the largest tram network in the world, and although it is used by tens of thousands of people every day, it's far from the most common form of transport, or even public transport.
Looking at the latest available statistics from April 2024 from the Department of Transport and Planning, 36% of trips made by public transport were by tram, but 40% of trips were made by train, followed by 23% by bus. And other statistics show an even bigger gap. Vista data, that counts a representative sample of journeys in Victoria, shows only around 20% of public transport trips are taken by tram, compared to 60% by train.
There are many reasons for this, but mainly it's because trams only cover a relatively small part of Melbourne. Only the city centre and some inner suburbs have a tram line, even though it is the largest in the world.
Number 5. The Wurundjeri people are the only traditional owners. The Wurundjeri people are most commonly associated with the land on which Melbourne is now located. They live in a large area covering over 12,500 square kilometres. But the Boonwurrung people also live in this area. The boundary officially marking the rough border between these two was set in 2021, and it identifies a line stretching from Deer Park through to Latrobe in the Yarra Ranges, with land to the north being recognised as Wurundjeri and the south as Boonwurrung country. You can find out which one you're on using this link here, which is also in the video description below.
And so there you have it, 5 myths about Melbourne busted in under 5 minutes. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and if you'd like to stay up to date on future videos, please hit the subscribe button as well. And if you want to become a supporter of this channel, check out the new website where you can sign up for bonus content like early video access and work in progress updates. You can visit members.philipmallis.com or check out the link in the video description below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.